They started paving at 2:15 a.m. I woke up to the sound of heavy machines right outside my bedroom window. By the time I stepped onto my porch, half of my private gravel road was covered in fresh black asphalt, and Karen was standing there in a neon safety vest, like she owned the sunrise. "Stop!" I shouted. "That's private property." She didn't even look embarrassed. She smiled. "No, it's HOA access now." Behind her, a full paving crew kept rolling forward. I walked straight into the road, boots crunching on the part that was still gravel. "This road cost me $80,000. I built it. I maintain it. It's not HOA. Karen folded her arms. "The board voted last night. We're converting it into a shared community drive." I stared at her. "You can't vote on land you don't own." She pulled out a folded paper and waved it in my face. "Revised neighborhood expansion agreement. Majority approved. I didn't sign anything. Neither did the county. But the crew kept working. My daughter stepped onto the porch behind me, scared. "Dad, what are they doing?" That's when I saw it. 3 cars from the neighborhood were already parked on the freshly paved section, like they'd been invited. Karen turned and gestured proudly. "See? Residents are already benefiting." I pulled out my phone and dialed the sheriff's office. She laughed. "Oh, we called them first," she said. "Told them you were blocking community improvement." Within minutes, a patrol car arrived. The deputy stepped out and looked confused at the half-finished pavement. Karen rushed over. "He's threatening the contractors. We have HOA authorization." The deputy turned to me. "Sir, is this road deeded to you?" "Yes," I said calmly. "Fully recorded." "Parcel extension under my name," Karen cut in. "That was before the expansion." I looked at her slowly. "What expansion?" She smiled wider. "The one you missed." That was the first twist. Because 2 weeks ago, she sent a digital consent form to homeowners, claimed it was about landscaping updates. Buried in page 4 was a clause about converting private access roads into shared HOA property. Most people clicked accept. I didn't, but she was counting on confusion. The deputy asked quietly, "Do you have the deed on you?" I nodded. "Inside." When I came back out with the folder, Karen's smile didn't fade. Because while I was inside, the final layer of asphalt was poured, and 58 vehicles had already driven across it, leaving fresh tire marks. On my property. Karen clapped slowly. "Too late now," she said. "It's public use." I looked down at the smooth black surface, then at the license plates, all 58 of them, and I said one calm sentence that made her smile disappear. "Good. Now I know exactly who trespassed." Karen laughed like I had just made a joke. "You can't sue a whole neighborhood," she said. "This is shared access now." I didn't argue. I walked slowly along the fresh asphalt, taking clear photos of every single tire mark, every parked car, every license plate. The paving company supervisor came over nervous. "Sir, we were contracted by the HOA." I looked him straight in the eye. "Did you verify ownership before altering private property?" He hesitated. "We were told it was approved." "By who?" He glanced at Karen. That told me enough. The deputy stepped closer. "Ma'am, I need to see official documentation transferring ownership." Karen handed him the printed expansion agreement. He scanned it, then looked at me. "Sir, did you sign this?" "No." Karen jumped in. "Majority vote overrides one homeowner." I shook my head slowly. "Not on deeded private property." The deputy frowned. "Ma'am, this document references common areas. This road is listed as parcel 17B, that's private." Karen's voice sharpened. "That was before the amendment." I opened my folder and pulled out a certified county letter. "Parcel amendments require county approval and recorded deed changes." I handed it to the deputy. "Ask her for the recording number." Silence. Karen didn't have one. Because it never existed. That was the second twist. She never filed anything with the county. She only told the neighborhood it was done. The deputy's tone changed slightly. "Ma'am, did you authorize construction on property not owned by the HOA?" She crossed her arms. "It benefits everyone." "That's not what I asked." The paving crew slowly shut down their machines. Neighbors who had parked on the road began stepping outside their houses, watching. One man shouted, "Karen said it was approved!" I raised my voice just enough so everyone could hear. "If it's approved, show the deed transfer." No one moved. Fresh asphalt steamed under the morning sun. 58 tire prints baked into it. I turned back to the deputy. I'd like an official incident. Report filed for unauthorized. Property alteration and trespass. Karen scoffed. You're being dramatic. I looked at her calmly. You paved over my $80,000 private road without permission. Then I added quietly, and now every vehicle that used it left physical proof. The deputy nodded. I'll file the report. Karen's confidence finally flickered. Fine, she snapped. We'll settle it in court. I closed my folder slowly. That's exactly where we're going. But what Karen didn't realize yet was that I didn't just own the road. I owned the only legal access easement connecting her entire cul-de-sac to the main street. And she had just paved over the one thing keeping her neighborhood connected. Without my permission, Karen's face stayed confident, but I saw the crack. You don't control access, she said quickly. It's a community road now. I didn't argue. I simply pulled out one more paper from my folder. Certified survey map. Stamped. Highlighted in yellow. This, I said calmly, holding it so the deputy and the nearby neighbors could see, is the recorded easement. It allows temporary pass-through for emergency, vehicles and utility services only. The deputy leaned closer. It does not, I continued, grant permanent public driving access. It does not transfer ownership, and it absolutely does not allow construction. One of the neighbors blinked. Wait, so we've been driving on your road this whole time? Yes, I answered plainly. With my permission. Karen snapped. You never said that. I never had to, I replied. The deputy looked at Karen again. Ma'am, did the HOA obtain written authorization from the property owner before modifying this easement? She stayed quiet. That silence hit harder than any shout. The paving supervisor slowly walked back over. Sir, if this is private, we were misled. I nodded once. You altered deeded property. That's civil liability. He swallowed hard. Now the third twist landed. I opened my phone and pulled up a security app. I have footage from 142M, shows HOA, representatives directing your crew where to pour. Karen's head snapped toward me. You have cameras out here? I looked at her evenly. I own the road. The deputy exhaled slowly. Ma'am, this is escalating. Karen's voice dropped lower now. You wouldn't dare block access. That's when I said the line that made the entire cul-de-sac go silent. I don't have to block it. The court will. Neighbors started murmuring. One woman stepped forward nervously. What does that mean? I faced them, not angry. Just steady. If this goes to court, and it will, the judge can issue an immediate injunction. That means no one uses this road until ownership is resolved. A man looked at his parked truck on the fresh asphalt. But this is the only way out. I nodded. Yes. Karen finally understood. If access was frozen, 58 cars were effectively landlocked. Her own included. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. Let's talk privately. I didn't move. We can work something out, she whispered sharply. You'll look like the villain if you sue the whole neighborhood. I held her gaze. You made them drive on stolen ground. The deputy cleared his throat. Sir, are you planning legal action? Yes, I said calmly. Against the HOA board and any party who trespassed after being informed of private ownership. A neighbor shouted that we didn't know. I looked at him honestly. And I'll make sure the court knows that. Karen's hands tightened into fists because she realized something terrible. Every tire mark on that asphalt wasn't just proof of trespass. It was proof of her deception. She told them it was public. She told them it was approved. She told them it was safe. And now, 58 drivers were staring at her instead of me. But the biggest twist? The deputy's radio crackled again. Dispatch confirmed something new. Karen had already been warned last year about unauthorized land modification attempts. Official warning, documented. Which meant this wasn't a mistake. It was repeated misconduct. The deputy looked at her carefully. Ma'am, this may move beyond civil court. And for the first time since the asphalt dried, Karen didn't have a response. The courtroom was so quiet you could hear the clock ticking above the judge's bench. Karen sat stiff in her chair, fingers locked together, jaw tight. Her lawyer kept whispering, but she wasn't listening anymore. The confidence she once wore like armor was gone. The judge adjusted his glasses. After reviewing the financial records, Witness statements and county documentation. He paused, flipping a page slowly. This court finds the HOA board acted outside its legal authority. A wave moved through the gallery. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a shared breath finally released. Karen's head snapped up. The fines are void. The liens are dismissed. And an independent audit will proceed. Her lawyer leaned toward her urgently. But the judge wasn't finished. And due to the misuse of funds and falsified notices, this matter is being referred for further investigation. The word investigation echoed like thunder. Karen's face drained of color. Outside the courthouse, cameras waited. Neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder. The Johnsons, the Parkers, the older couple who had almost lost their home over unauthorized mailbox paint. I stepped down the courthouse stairs slowly. My daughter stood beside me, smiling for the first time in weeks. A reporter called out, "How does it feel?" I looked at the neighbors instead of the cameras. "It feels like a neighborhood again." Applause broke out, real, unforced. And then something unexpected happened. The county representative approached us with a folder. "Since the HOA charter has been legally dissolved," he announced, loud enough for everyone to hear, "the community now has the option to reorganize or remain independent." The Johnsons looked at me. The Parkers nodded. "No HOA," someone said firmly. "No HOA," another agreed. Hands went up. Voices followed. For the first time, decisions were being made by neighbors, not threats. Karen was escorted past us quietly. No shouting, no insults, just silence. And sometimes silence says everything. Weeks later, the orange violation signs were gone. The neighborhood barbecue came back. Kids rode bikes without fear of unauthorized sidewalk chalk. And one afternoon, as I was fixing the mailbox Karen once tried to find me over, my daughter walked up and slipped her hand into mine. "It's peaceful again," she said softly. I looked down the street. Neighbors talking. Music playing. No patrol cars. No notices. Just home. And that was the real victory. Not revenge. Not humiliation. Just peace. And this time, it stayed. The courtroom was silent. Not the kind of silence that feels calm. The kind that feels like something big is about to break. Karen sat stiff in her chair, jaw tight, fingers gripping the table like she could still control the outcome if she squeezed hard enough. Her lawyer had already stopped whispering. There was nothing left to whisper. The judge adjusted his glasses and looked directly at her. The HOA acted outside its authority. The lien is void. The fines are invalid. And the attempted seizure of property that is not within HOA jurisdiction, he paused, is a serious violation. A ripple moved through the courtroom. Karen's face went pale. But that wasn't the climax. The climax came when the county attorney stood. "Your Honor, based on evidence uncovered during this case, the county has initiated a financial audit of the HOA. Preliminary findings indicate misused funds, fabricated violations, and falsified votes." Gasps. Karen's shoulders dropped. The judge didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Effective immediately, the HOA board is dissolved pending investigation. A temporary administrator will take control. And just like that, her power was gone. Outside the courthouse, neighbors gathered. The Johnsons, the Parkers, the elderly couple Karen had fined over a garden flag, the single mom she threatened over a basketball hoop, people who had been quiet, people who had been afraid. Not anymore. Someone started clapping, then another, then all of them. Karen walked past without looking up. No phone, no authority, no one snapping to attention anymore. Just a person who finally had to face consequences. Weeks later, the neighborhood felt different. Quieter, kinder. The fake violation letters stopped. The random fines disappeared. The constant tension lifted. The temporary administrator held a community meeting. Open records, transparent rules, real votes. For the first time in years, neighbors actually talked to each other instead of whispering. Kids played basketball in driveways without fear of orange notices. Holiday decorations stayed up without threats. No one measured grass with a ruler. And my 155-year-old home? Still standing. No lien, no seizure, no intimidation. Just sunlight through old windows and a sense of peace that hadn't been there in a long time. One evening, as I was stacking firewood, the Johnsons walked over with lemonade. "Guess we won," Mr. Johnson said with a grin. I looked down the street. Kids riding bikes, porch lights glowing, neighbors chatting like it was supposed to be all along. No, I said. We didn't win. We just reminded them that this neighborhood belongs to the people who live in it. And that was the real victory. Not revenge, not humiliation. Accountability. And peace. A truly amazing happy ending.